Mountains have amazed and inspired humanity for thousands of years, with many communities linking religious and cultural beliefs with the mountains surrounding them. While most mountains across the globe have attracted mountaineers and hikers, there are a few that remain out of bounds, with all human activities on the mountains being banned. So in this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 forbidden climbs in the world. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. Many climbing crags have been cut off for public use. This video will be about mountain/spires, and not necessarily the climb itself. 10. Mount Umunhum, California. With a name meaning resting place of the hummingbird, in Ohlone, Mount Umunhum is the fourth highest peak in Santa Cruz Mountains of California. The summit was closed to the public due to hazardous materials and unsafe conditions caused by partially demolished structures from the former Air Force Station. In 2009, with federal funding, Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District removed 3,000 cubic yards of hazardous materials, including lead paint, asbestos, fuel storage containers, and PCB transformers, and deconstructed 13,680 tons of concrete, asphalt, wood, and other materials. Despite these measures, access to the summit area surrounding the cube was closed again in 2018, pending additional cleanup. In 2017, the Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District granted an easement to the Umunhum tribal band, descendants of the Ohlone Native American people who inhabited the region before it was settled by the Europeans. The easement authorized the band to build a garden and hold ceremonies on the mountaintop. In March 2022, the $2 million renovation project to preserve the historical building was completed. 9. Uluru, Australia. Uluru has been sacred to Anangu for tens of thousands of years, and climbing Uluru was not generally permitted under Jukurpa, Anangu law and culture. Visitors began climbing Uluru in the late 1930s, and to keep people safe, the first section of the climbing chain was installed in 1964. In 1985, Uluru Kata Juta National Park was handed back to the traditional owners, Anangu, in an event known as Hand Back. In November 2017, the Board of Management agreed that the criteria, which included the number of visitors climbing falling below 20%, voted unanimously to close the climb on 26 October 2019, the 34th anniversary of Hand Back. Visitors are advised that climbing Uluru is a breach of the Environmental Protection and Biodiversity (EPBC) Act, and penalties will be issued to visitors attempting to do so. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now, let's get back to our topic. 8. Spider Rock, Arizona, USA. Spider Rock is a sandstone spire located in the Apache County, Arizona in the United States within the boundaries of the Canyon de Chelly National Monument, a protected national monument. Spider Rock is the most distinctive geological feature of the monument, rising 750 feet above the canyon floor. Navajo traditions believe that the spire is home to the spider grandmother. Climbing of Spider Rock is forbidden as a directive for an absolute and total ban on all forms of rock climbing around Navajo country. 7. Mount Kumbila, Nepal. In the Khumbu Valley sits a mountain much revered by the Sherpas, called Kumbila. The mountain is so sacred that during a local festival called Dumhi, the Kumbila god is believed to descend from his abode to dance in the local monastery. Locals believe that Kumbila was a god who was subdued and converted to Buddhism by Guru Rinpoche around the 8th century, and that Guru Rinpoche himself meditated in a cave of the Kumbila mountain, signifying its religious and historical importance. The Sherpa holy books state that the region above the tree line of Kumbila is the abode for gods, and breaching this line evokes the wrath of gods in several forms, such as altitude sickness. 6. Kumbiyulha, Nepal. Considered too sacred to be climbed by most local Sherpa people, the mountain is considered home to the patron god of the local area, Kumbiyulha. At 5,761 meters, is not very tall compared to the surrounding mountains, Everest, Cho-Oyu, and Makalu. This mountain lies within the Sagarmatha National Park and has never been climbed. One expedition attempt took place in the 1980s, but unfortunately, an avalanche killed all the expedition members. Since then, no one has attempted to summit this mountain. 5. Kanchenjunga, India. Mount Kanchenjunga is a mountain located on the India-Nepal border and is one of the tallest mountains in the Himalayas. Mount Kanchenjunga is the tallest mountain in India and the third tallest in the world, with an altitude of 28,169 feet above sea level. Mount Kanchenjunga is a sacred mountain to the Darjeeling and Sikkim tribes, who worship the mountain, and members are forbidden from climbing the mountain. However, other people from across the globe have ascended the mountain, with the first recorded successful ascent being achieved in 1955. 4. Shiprock. Shiprock is a dramatic 7,177-foot-high rock mountain located in northwestern New Mexico, about 20 miles southwest of the town of Shiprock. The formation, a volcanic plug, rises above a barren desert plain south of the San Juan River. Shiprock is on the Navajo Nation land, a self-governing territory of 27,425 square miles in northwestern New Mexico, northeastern Arizona, and southeastern Utah. Reaching the summit of Shiprock was the last great problem of North American mountaineering during the late 1930s, prior to its route-finding difficulties being unlocked in 1939 by the Sierra Club team of Dave Brower, Bester Robinson, Rafi Badane, and John Dyer. Bolts were placed for protection, but not for upward progress during the first ascent, and this was one of the first times that bolts had been placed in rock in the history of climbing in North America. 3. Mount Gangkhar Puensum, Bhutan. The mountain most widely claimed to be the highest unclimbed mountain in the world in terms of elevation is Gangkhar Puensum, 7,570 meters, 24,840 feet. It is in Bhutan, on or near the border with China. In Bhutan, climbing mountains higher than 6,000 meters has been prohibited since 1994. The rationale for this prohibition is based on local customs that consider this and simple peaks to be the sacred homes of protective deities and spirits, and the lack of high-altitude rescue resources from any locale closer than India. The prohibition was further expanded in 2003, when mountaineering of any kind was disallowed entirely within Bhutan. Gangkhar Puensum will likely remain unclimbed so long as the government of Bhutan prohibits it. 2. Mount Machapuchare, Nepal. Machapuchare, which means fishtail, is an iconic mountain in central Nepal that stands isolated from the Annapurna range. Its height is 6,993 meters, and due to its shape, the mountain is very remarkable. However, the Nepal government does not permit climbing this mountain. BBC mentions that the ban on climbing Mount Machapuchare is the result of a request made by British Army officer Jimmy Roberts, who contributed immensely to the development of the mountaineering in Nepal. Jimmy Roberts did mount an expedition to climb Machapuchare, but abandoned his mission 45 meters shy of Machapuchare Peak. Later, Jimmy Roberts requested the Nepal government to ban expeditions to Machapuchare. The Gurungs consider Machapuchare sacred and were unhappy to see foreigners trying to scale it. The ban on scaling Machapuchare continues to this day. 1. Mount Kailash, Tibet, China. Rising to more than 22,000 feet, Mount Kailash is the peak in the Kailash range, which forms part of the Trans-Himalaya in Tibet. It is a sacred mountain for four faiths: Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and followers of the indigenous Tibetan region of Bon. For thousands of years, pilgrims have made the pilgrimage to Mount Kailash, circumnavigating or walking around the mountain in a tradition called the Kailash Kora, which is believed to remove sins and bring good fortune. While thousands of pilgrims travel to Mount Kailash every year, none make the climb to the mountain. All four religions believe it would be a serious act of sacrilege to set foot on its slope. Legend has it the only person to have reached the summit is the Buddhist champion Milarepa, who flew to the top of the 12th century, and that all others who have ventured to defy the taboo have died in the process. In 2001, it was said that the Chinese gave permission for a Spanish team to climb the peak, but the Chinese government formally clarified that no mountaineering activities will be allowed on the mountain, the Times of India reported. So, that's it. Please like, share, and comment your thoughts below if you like this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.